let's talk about something huge that's happening in the business world right now. It's this massive contradiction sitting at the very heart of enterprise AI, something we're calling the $2.5 trillion paradox.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. The amount of money being poured into AI is, well, it's just staggering. Gartner is projecting that by 2026, worldwide spending is going to hit $2.52 trillion. I mean, it's a 44% jump year over year. It's a complete tidal wave of cash flowing straight into this tech.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. Look at this number. Even with all that money flying around, only 26.7% of CFOs, the people who actually have to sign the checks, are planning to increase their AI budgets. And get this, that's down from over 53% just 1 year ago. So right there, that's the paradox we're talking about. Everybody wants AI. Demand has never, ever been higher. But all of a sudden, the people holding the purse strings are slamming on the brakes. What on earth is going on? This isn't just some weird blip. It's a really fundamental shift in how the business world is thinking about AI.
All right, so to really get to the bottom of this, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the paradox itself, then we'll dig into why so many projects are failing to get funded. After that, we'll introduce a framework to fix it, lay out a super clear playbook, and then wrap up with what you can do next.
First up, the great AI paradox. What's really interesting here is that this clash between sky-high demand and shrinking budgets, it's not really a contradiction. It's actually a signal that the AI industry is finally starting to grow up.
And wow, does this slide show you that divide? On one hand, you've got the soaring demand, trillions in spending, with the average company dropping over 85 grand a month. But on the other hand, you've got the cold, hard financial reality. Budgets are getting squeezed because a pretty dismal 14% of CFOs are seeing any measurable return on that investment. The party's over for just writing blank checks and hoping for the best. So why is this happening? We really need to unpack why so many promising AI pilots, ones that look great in a demo, end up failing to get a real budget. And it all boils down to one thing: the unit economics gap.
Here is the dirty little secret of most AI projects. The cost of a pilot, that little proof of concept, it is a tiny, tiny fraction of what it costs to actually run it in the real world. Once you start factoring in all the integrations, the data pipelines, the human oversight, the true cost to scale a project can just explode by 250 to 400%. And that is the budget shock that kills so many initiatives.
And this quote, oh man, this gets right to the heart of the problem. Your tech team might be popping champagne because the AI worked, but the CFO is speaking a completely different language. They want to know the numbers, the cold, hard facts. What does it cost for every single thing this AI does? Is it making mistakes? And maybe the most important question of all, is it actually getting cheaper over time?
And to make matters worse, there's this massive disconnect in expectations. The board, they want to see a return in maybe a year. The CFO needs to see positive movement on their quarterly reports. The business unit, they wanted the gains yesterday. But the reality is that most big AI projects take 2, 3, even 4 years to deliver real value. And that mismatch in timelines, it just creates tons of pressure and skepticism.
And the result of all these problems? Well, it's this absolutely jaw-dropping statistic from MIT. 95% of generative AI pilots are failing to show any return on investment. They get stuck in what you could call pilot purgatory. They technically work, but they never prove their financial value, so they never, ever get the budget to actually scale.
Okay, so how do we get out of pilot purgatory? This is where we make a big shift from just talking about the problem to laying out the solution. We need a totally new approach, one that moves the conversation away from just vague enthusiasm about what AI might do to concrete evidence of what it is doing. And that's where the unit economics framework comes in.
So, what do we mean by unit economics here? It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It just means breaking down your AI's performance to the smallest possible piece, a single business transaction, and then measuring its cost and its value with ruthless precision. It's how you build a business case that your CFO literally can't argue with. This whole framework really boils down to 3 essential metrics that every single leader needs to be tracking. Number 1, the total cost for every successfully completed transaction. Number 2, the rate at which the AI messes up and needs a human to fix it. And number 3, a direct, honest comparison of the new AI-powered cost versus your old pre-AI baseline.
Now, when we say cost per completed transaction, we're not just talking about what you pay for API calls. We mean the fully loaded cost. That includes the data pipelines, the integration work, the time your people spend reviewing and correcting things, and all the maintenance. Pilots love to hide these costs, but believe me, they become very, very real in production.
That second metric, the exception rate, is basically your truth test. This quote just says it all perfectly. If your AI keeps making mistakes and that rate isn't going down over time, then your AI isn't actually learning anything. And even worse, if the amount of human rework is going up, then your fancy automation is just creating a brand new, expensive kind of manual labor. All right, so once you start tracking these numbers, you can finally move from just feeling your way through this to taking real action. This is the go/pause/stop playbook. It's a simple, data-driven way to make clear, decisive calls on your AI investments. No emotion, no guesswork involved.
So what's a go signal? Well, it's when the data is just screaming yes. Your cost per transaction is dropping steadily. Your quality is as good as or even better than your human baseline. And crucially, the amount of human rework is going down, which proves the AI is getting smarter. This is when you hit the gas and scale.
Now, a pause is not a failure. Think of it as a yellow light. It's a signal to iterate and fix things. You hit pause when the numbers just aren't improving, the exception rate is flat, or maybe hidden costs are popping up that you didn't expect, or the AI's output is just all over the place. This is your chance to fine-tune things before you pour any more money into it. And finally, the stop signal. And you know what? This might be the most financially disciplined and bravest decision you can make. If after, say, 90 days, your costs aren't coming down, or even worse, your exception rate is actually rising, it's time to pull the plug. A structured stop saves way more money than letting a zombie project shamble around for months on end. Okay, we've covered the paradox, the problem, and the playbook. Let's finish up with the most important part. What should you actually do right now? Here's a clear 5-point action plan to bring this kind of unit economics discipline into your own AI strategy. First, you have to be ruthless about focus. Pick 3 to 5 workflows where you know you can measure the financial impact. Second, no baseline, no launch, period. You have to know where you're starting from. Third, change how you pay your vendors. Tie those payments to actual outcomes, not just licenses. Fourth, instrument everything so you can track your unit economics. And fifth, run those disciplined 60 to 90-day go/pause/stop decision cycles. That third point about vendors, it's a revolution all by itself. This slide shows you the shift. We are moving away from that old world of paying per user or per year. The new model, the one that actually lines up everyone's incentives, is paying based on performance. Things like cost per successfully resolved transaction or pricing that's linked directly to the value you're getting.
And really, that brings us to the final, most crucial point. The entire idea of this explainer is captured right here on this slide. The conversation around AI in business is fundamentally changing. It's not about vanity metrics like how many people are using it anymore. It's about efficiency metrics, like how much it costs per transaction. The leaders who are asking the right question, they're the ones breaking out of pilot purgatory and actually scaling. So the real question is, which one are you asking?